1, 2, 3, 4. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. There's a slightly bonkers song from Johnny Cash. On paper at least it's very straightforward, nothing but 3 chords. There's a G, a C and a D7. So far so good, but it goes at quite a tempo. And the real challenge is actually that we're almost constantly changing the time signature, so the number of beats in the bar. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 3. In the chorus there's a 2-beat bar, and I reckon in the second verse, because the 2 verses aren't even the same as each other, there's a dodgy 5-beat bar lurking in there too. So what I want to do straight away is look at a strumming pattern that's going to help us really drive that beat, and that will help us keep our place. Now we're going to play alternating bass throughout this song on a G chord. That's going to mean moving the bass note from the 6th string to the 4th string. So on each beat I'm going to play one of those two. In a 4-beat bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's easy enough, but because we go at a high tempo, there isn't actually really time to move the wrist to create that down strum. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm just going to kind of firm up my fingers, maybe just my 2nd and 3rd fingers, and I'm going to kind of dig into the strings like that. That kind of a thing. And if you have just the right amount of flexibility, so not too tight and not too loose, as you jab those strings, that's better, you're going to create a little bounce. Doesn't really work if you slow it down, it relies on the speed for the effect. So maybe you can see, I'm just looking at my monitor here, the thumb's moving but the fingers are kind of staying put. That's what I'm doing anyway, and that's going to give us something like the kind of train beat, boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, which is going on in the drums. Okay, let's get on and look at the structure of the verse. And the first verse, 4 lines, and we get in fact a 4-beat bar, then a 3-beat bar, and then a 4-beat bar. And if we're going to alternate the bass, this is going to start to fall down straight away. There's a 4-beat bar, now the 3-beat bar, 1, 2, 3. That means that the following bar is going to begin on the alternating note. Well, the solution here is actually in the song. What we do is we play 3 beats of G, then a chord of C for a single beat. That's the end of the first 4-beat bar. Then in the next bar, which only has 3 beats, again G, alternating to the 4th, and then C again. So in fact we only ever play an even number of beats on a G chord. It's ingenious, and this is how it works. Lo, here's a burning thing. Okay, so that's just a template you're going to have to get under your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fortunately, the second line is exactly the same, and it makes a fiery ring. Okay. The third line in the first verse is the same, bound by a wild desire. Now what happens is we get a single 3-beat bar and a 4-beat bar. I fell into a ring of fire. Okay, so if we put all that together up to speed, 1, 2, 3, 4. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. Okay, not easy to count. The one thing that might help is in the 3-beat bars we get. We're look at the tab for that in a little while. We have this kind of mariachi style solo trumpet thing going on, but that happens in the 3-beat bars. So that should help you to get your place. All right, let's look at the chorus. Now the chorus is just 4 beats in the bar, except for one place where we have 2, and it's straightforward enough. We have a bar of D7, 4 beats, and then another 4-beat bar with 2 beats of C and 2 beats of G. I fell into a burning ring of fire. And the alternating bass for D7 is going from 4 to 5. For C, it's going from the 3rd fret of the 5th string down to the 3rd fret of the 6th string. And G we've already looked at, that's 6th string to 4th string. So those 2 bars would be, I fell into a burning ring of fire. Same thing again. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. Now we get a whole bar of G, and it burns, burns, burns. Now here's our 2-beat bar, 1 beat of G, 1 beat of C. The ring of, back to G for 4 beats, fire. Except we play a D7 right at the end of that bar, the 4th beat of that bar, and then it is just a single bar of 4 G. So the whole thing, I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire. That D7 there in the penultimate bar isn't strictly necessary, but I do think I hear that. Anyway, that's the whole of that. Now let's just take a closer look at the alternating bass. Now if we zoom in a bit closer on the 2nd bar, where we have 2 beats of C and 2 beats of G, you can see that the alternating note for C is the 3rd fret on the bottom string, and that's also the note that we start the G chord with. So in fact on the 2nd beat and 3rd beat we end up playing the same note, and if we want to get some kind of flowing movement to this bass line, it's not a great idea to stick to the same note twice in a row. It just feels a bit heavy, so what I'm going to do is to find a different alternating note for C. I'm just going to come up to the 4th string. Okay, so I'm not moving anything in the left hand. I fell into a burning ring of fire. That's a bit better, that at least gives me some kind of movement in the bass, but I've got another problem now. At the end of that bar, the alternating note for G is the open 4th string, and that's how we kick off the 3rd bar, also with a D. So, again, that's not ideal, so now I want to find an alternative alternating note for the G. I might play the note that's on the 5th string there. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down. It's fine, but it's not very strong. So I want to make a little feature of it. I want to do something there. If I'm hitting the 2nd fret of the 5th string, what I'm going to do is break into 8ths. I'm going to play the 2nd fret of the 5th string to the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and that's going to move me very nicely up to the open 4th string for the following bar. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Okay. At the end of the 4th bar, I don't need to do the same thing because we're not going back to D7, but that's just a little thought. I fell into the burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. Now the song actually begins with a slightly odd mariachi style trumpet thing, and we have a bar of 3 and a bar of 4, a bar of 3 and a bar of 4. If we count 4 beats as our default, 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da. Actually begins on 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we get a 3-beat bar, a 4-beat bar, 3-beat bar, 4-beat bar. As before, we only ever pick an even number of bass notes on the G. So in the 3-beat bar, it's 2 beats of G and 1 of C. Ba da da ba ba da ba da ba do ba. Ba ba da ba dum ba dum ba. Okay, that's that. But that repeats in the interlude after the first chorus, and it's twice through. So if I go from the very end of the chorus, and it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. That's better. Okay, so that's what happens there. It's exactly the same figure as the intro, but we get this alternating 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and in the interlude after the first chorus we actually get all of that twice. Alright, let's look at how we might pick that trumpet figure. Now, if you did want to pick what the two trumpets are doing, it happens pretty much on the second and third strings only, and we begin with the open second and third like this, and then I'm going to take my first and second fingers on the first fret of the second string, second fret of the third string, and then just slide them up until they're on the third and fourth frets. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 and... I'm going to keep them there for a second, and I'm going to bring my third and fourth fingers down onto the fifth fret of the second and third strings. Go down to the first and second frets with my first and second fingers, and then bring them up to the third and fourth frets. That's the whole of the first half. The second half is pretty simple. We just play the open strings for a while. Goes down a third. Then we get first and second frets. And we get one pair of notes only that aren't on the second and third strings. They're on the third and fourth strings. On the second fret of the third, the fourth fret of the fourth. And I'm going to use my first and third fingers for that. And then back to the open second and third strings. It pays to kind of work out your fingering there. The whole thing, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. And then we're into the verse. As I say, in the interlude we get this. Twice through. Let's talk about the structure of the song. We've got the intro we've just heard, we get the first verse into the chorus, which we've played, with the interlude, which again we've just looked at. Then we get another chorus, and now we get into the second verse. So the first time we have the chorus, we actually play it twice before we get into the second verse. The second verse is the same as the first verse until it isn't, and we get this. The taste of love is sweet, ba-da-ba-dum-bam-bum, 1, 2, 3. When hearts 2, 3 like ours meet, ba-da-ba-dum-ba-bum-bum, 2, 3, 4. Now it changes. And actually, you could say that there are 5 lots of 4 beats now until the end of this. But if you listen to the way the bass works, I reckon we need to count a bar of 3 and a bar of 5 just to make this work, because we get this. I fell for you like a... So there's a 3-beat bar because I'm moving on to the C, and I reckon that's the end of a 3-beat bar. I fell for you like a... Now we get 4 beats of G and 1 of C, so there's my 5-beat bar. I fell for you like a child, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we get bar of 4. Oh, but the fire went wild. just a little bit different. And you know, normally when we get a 3-beat bar, we get ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, all that. But actually, if you listen on the recording, the trumpets come in at a kind of a weird point here, like on the halfway through the second beat or something, just so that we coincide with the last beat of that 5. Anyway, here's the whole of the second verse. The taste of love is sweet, bum 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 2, 3. When hearts like ours meet, pa-da-pa-dum beat, oh 1, 2, 3, 4. I fell for you like a child, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into the burning. And we're into the chorus again. So the whole format of the thing, after that point, we get another chorus, and that chorus then repeats, and then we repeat just the last little bit of that final chorus to fade. I'm not going to go into the absolute ins and outs of that. If you want to check out the original chording, that's probably a better way of getting the hang of exactly what happens there. But anyway, I'm going to have a playthrough of the whole thing now, so you should hear how it works. Well, I hope that was useful or fun or something, and thanks for watching. Hopefully, see you on the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love is a burning flame, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. And it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire. That's it.